Well, welcome back to the second set of courses in the StockSessions.com Beginner Stock Market Course Overview. Last time we'll talk about what we did in the prior events, and mainly the three things we're focusing on is going to be analyzing the stock market, trying to figure out what kind of stocks to buy, bonds, mutual funds, and things to diversify your portfolio, looking at opportunities but also the dangers. Stock investing is fun, but it involves risk. Everything's perfect. I wish it were. Then we'll plan. Once you've analyzed and figured out what the best stocks are for the market to purchase, you have to plan a strategy. You can't just click and choose and hope something goes well. You have to know when to buy and sell. We talked about trend lines, we talked about trends, moving averages, spots to buy on breakouts, spots to buy on retracements. What those are, we'll review those, so don't worry too much. And the actual execution. It's great to analyze, great to study, great to plan. That's the fun part. But the actual execution is when the money is made or lost, and that's your plan. Knowing how to adjust if something goes wrong or add to positions if something goes right. So we'll talk about these as we go through. But keep in mind, our core checklist as we progress through the StockSessions.com content is going to be analyzing, planning, and then executing. So quickly, we talked about, it's kind of a big scary word called fundamental analysis. Don't be too scared about that. It's just basically, what is a company worth? So if you put all the math together, all the balance sheets, all the earnings, all the liabilities, everything together, this is what's going to be fundamentally valued at a price. So the goal is to figure out what a company is worth. So it's a lot of math, statistics, and numbers, but that's not to be, it's too scary, at least in that content. But the fundamental analysis gives you the what. Which companies are the best to buy? So what's it worth? But of course, that doesn't give you the spot to enter, positions, manage trades, etc. So we need to know what technical analysis is, which is a big scary word for reading a stock's chart quickly. So looking at prices, looking at how those have moved over time, and finding low-risk spots to get in. So we call these trends, and we had the big principle, we talked about it, trends once established have greater odds of continuing than of reversing. So once a trend is in motion, think of it like a river flowing downstream. You want to get in that river, in that trend, in that price movement, and your money is made by going with that trend. So how to buy shares low, which is a low valued price, using a trend usually on retracements and breakouts. And we talked about how to identify ranges with trend lines again, and the words expensive and cheap came into play, and just looking at a chart to find those out. So let's wait on a bit then. And then of course we can't just hold a position forever. Things do mature, stocks like everything else does, and we find out how to sell those shares and keep those profits. And if you have a loss, cut that loss and move your money into something more productive. So now what we want to do is give you actionable information you can use right now, today. Go out, take what you've learned, go to Yahoo Finance or take your computer and even the smartphone apps, you can do that. Find the best stocks, compare the values, find the trends, find the reversal spots, find the retracements, find the breakouts, and then go ahead and put the positions on. Well, now what we'll talk about in this one is building your portfolio. A little bit different. We're going to talk about scanning and researching for stocks, a little bit more detailed, understanding what this big word called diversification and financial terminology, which can be daunting, can be scary, but I'll make it easy for you, and we'll have some fun too. And what the goal is to take control of your financial future. That's what we're doing. So giving you the tools and information to make money, control your risk, have a balanced portfolio, and hopefully have some fun with it. And this series, we'll go in more detail later. We'll talk about what a stock is on these next series of videos. What's a stock? Talk about the concept of, we use, again, financial terms, making it complicated, but it's really not. Income versus opportunity, bonds and risky stocks, those sort of things. Value versus growth, those are big terms, but we'll talk about those. We'll break them down and make it simpler. Talk about bonds and yield, that's your income. Talk about mutual funds, which if you don't want to do all this stuff yourself, you can pay someone to do it for you. A private mutual fund makes it a lot easier. And beyond mutual funds, what an ETF, what in the world's that? It's an exchange-traded fund. ETF, exchange-traded fund. How they're actually better than mutual funds. They're cheaper. We'll talk about those later. I won't give too much away right now, but in the intro, why they're better. And if that's not fun enough for you, we'll talk about how to hire a money manager, plan your future with someone there. Have someone help you out, financial advisors, different people you can talk with or pay to give advice to or to get advice from to help you with your goals as the things in your life change. College, retirement, marriage, children, whatever the case may be, that's what we're talking about. So don't feel like you have to do all this by yourself. If you want to, it's available. You can do that, no problem. Well, the problem depending on how much interest you have in it. If it's not interesting, it's going to be a lot harder than if it's not. But nonetheless, this can be done either completely by yourself, or you can have someone help you a little bit, or just go ahead and say, here's my money, take it and do what you wish with it. Hopefully make me money. So that's the goal with how to use these. And so for me, just reviewing, who's Corey? So I started with the stock market challenge. So I have a story about how I got interested in stocks. Most people have done something with stocks or know at least some familiarity with it. I started back in high school. And so with just a random stock market challenge. And it happened to be, if you remember this period, 98, 99, 2000, when the market was going straight up. That was a tech bubble. That was a lot of fun. So pretty much anything you bought, almost anything, went straight up. So that was my first experience in the stock market. It was successful and making initially paper money, and with my dad, making real money in our account. He kind of showed me some things about stocks and got me interested. That was really cool. So I was an investor like the Warren Buffett, the fundamental analysis, all that big picture stuff, all that nerdy math and everything, companies and valuations, with my dad helping me from the next 4 or 5 years. But if you notice what happened next, the bear market, September 11th, the tech bubble crash, all those terrible things took price up all the way down through a bear market. We'll talk about those. So all the cool stuff we made, essentially lost that. But that's when I got involved in this technical analysis thing. Call it TA, charting. There's got to be a way to figure out when these bear markets exist, what factors precede them, how to predict them, and how to avoid them. So that's what got me involved in technical analysis, and I really enjoyed that. So I kind of switched over from investor, where you have to pretty much make one decision and let it go for years. Fine. And I was in high school, college, and grad school during this period. And then traders, we were more active. You take a more active role in your management. So I did that. When I went full-time after grad school, I became what's called a day trader. We won't talk about this in this series, but nonetheless, that's doing really quick decisions on a daily basis as a professional. So when you're full-time at this, swing trading and investing, you want to do something more than that. So I've stayed in this realm with this background of fundamental, technical, kind of a hybrid, and then now I do day trading with a little bit of portfolio management. So that's me. And I received a psychology and political science undergrad. Went out of grad school for public affairs, so a little bit of time in Washington, D.C. I won't talk about that either. But nonetheless, that was fun, a little internship. And one cool thing I'm proud about is that I received the Charter Market Technician designation in 2009. And so that was just basically combining almost a grad school for technical analysis. Fundamental analysis, valuations, Warren Buffett stuff. A lot of information about that, not a lot about charting or technical analysis, indicators, etc. So I did that. Started the Afraid to Trade blog, and that led to the Complete Trading course in 2010. And then, so I moved from, which is, oh, thanks. Speaking of, the book, Complete Trading course, finishes in 2010, actually. And this was really just a culmination, almost like a PhD thesis. Not really a PhD thesis, but strategies I had learned, things I had experienced, and a little bit of psychology in with the strategy. So we'll talk about some things in the book during the series here for StockSessions.com. And one cool thing I'm proud about is that I moved from, well, being from the South is great, from Huntsville, Alabama, Space and Rocket Center, to Los Angeles, California. So I'm very happy here. My first speaking engagement was in 2009 in Pasadena, Traders Expo. So quick little summary of me. I've just got both feet in this fundamental investing world, money management, work with a firm back in Huntsville. And so now I'm really just independent doing this through Afraid to Trade and through educational courses like this. So happy to be here and glad that you're able to join us for StockSessions.com. And we'll always talk about different things as we go through. But my website is AfraidToTrade.com, Facebook, Corey Rosenbloom, Twitter, kind of active on Twitter, doing stock picks and information, education, psychology, all kind of things at Afraid to Trade. And if you want to email me, questions or comments or questions, anything else about investing or trading, it's Corey at AfraidToTrade.com.